Picture this. You wake up one morning and your bank balance decides what your entire day looks like, what you eat, where you live, how relaxed or stressed you feel walking into work, even how you talk to the people around you. That's not an exaggeration, because your wealth level in Canada doesn't just change your bank account, it quietly changes your entire life experience. Today we're walking through exactly what life actually looks like at every wealth level in this country, from living paycheck to paycheck all the way to true financial freedom, and by the end of this video, you'll know exactly where you stand and exactly what the next level actually feels like. Welcome back to Canadian Finance Hub with James. If you're new here, this channel breaks down money and wealth in a way that actually feels real, not the fantasy version you see online, but the honest, lived experience of what different levels of net worth actually mean for everyday Canadians. Today we're doing something a little different, a full POV walkthrough of life at every wealth stage, so you can see exactly what shifts, what stays the same, and what nobody talks about at each level. Let's get into it. Level 1 is living paycheck to paycheck, and this is where a lot of Canadians unfortunately spend years of their life. At this stage, your net worth is close to zero or even negative once you factor in credit card debt or a car loan. Every single dollar that comes in already has a job before it even lands in your account: rent, groceries, gas, bills. There's no room for error here. One unexpected expense, a flat tire, a dental emergency, a slightly higher hydro bill, and suddenly you're stressed for the rest of the month. Financial decisions at this level aren't really decisions, they're survival moves. You're not choosing between investing and spending, you're choosing between which bill gets paid late. The mental load here is honestly exhausting, because money isn't in the background of your life, it's constantly front and center. Level 2 is what I call the stability stage, somewhere between $10,000 and $50,000 in net worth. This is often the first time someone has a real emergency fund, maybe 3 to 6 months of expenses sitting untouched in a high-interest savings account. The shift here isn't dramatic on paper, but emotionally it's massive. You stop feeling like one bad week away from disaster. A surprise expense doesn't spiral into panic anymore, it just becomes an inconvenience. At this stage, people usually start contributing to a TFSA or RRSP for the first time, even if it's just a small automatic transfer. Life doesn't look dramatically different from the outside, you're still working the same job, still living a similar lifestyle, but internally, the constant background anxiety about money starts to fade, just slightly. Level 3 is the growth stage, roughly $50,000 to $200,000 in net worth. This is where things genuinely start to feel different, because your investments are finally large enough that market returns start meaningfully adding to your net worth alongside your own contributions. You start checking your portfolio not out of anxiety, but out of curiosity. Vacations start feeling less guilt-inducing because you know your financial foundation can absorb the cost without derailing your goals. This is also usually the stage where people upgrade certain parts of their lifestyle, a nicer apartment, a better car, more dining out, but the difference from level 1 is that these choices are intentional rather than desperate. You're not avoiding your bank app anymore, you're actually opening it to see how things are growing. Level 4 is what most people picture when they hear the word wealthy, somewhere around $200,000 to $750,000 in net worth. At this stage, real financial flexibility starts to show up in everyday life. You can handle a job loss without panicking because you know your investments and savings can carry you for months, sometimes longer. Big life decisions start opening up too. Maybe you consider starting a business, switching careers for less pay but more happiness, or buying a home in a market that once felt completely out of reach. Interestingly, this is also the stage where a lot of Canadians report feeling the most psychologically settled, because you have enough cushion to make choices from confidence instead of fear, but you're still working hard enough that the hustle hasn't faded entirely. Level 5 is financial independence, generally starting somewhere around $1 to $2 million in liquid net worth, depending on your lifestyle and spending habits. This is the stage where working becomes optional rather than mandatory. Your investments alone could theoretically cover your living expenses using a sustainable withdrawal strategy, meaning your job shifts from a necessity to a choice. People at this level often keep working, not because they have to, but because they've built an identity around meaningful work, and that distinction changes everything about how stress feels. A bad day at work doesn't threaten your entire life anymore, because you genuinely know you could walk away if you needed to. And then there's level 6, true abundance, which isn't really about a specific number anymore. It's about having so much financial breathing room that money almost disappears from your daily thinking entirely. At this level, the conversation shifts from growing wealth to preserving it, giving generously, investing in experiences and relationships, and thinking generationally instead of month to month. Very few people reach this level, and interestingly, many who do say the emotional shift from level 4 to 5 mattered far more to their happiness than the shift from 5 to 6. Here's the important thing to understand watching this. Almost every Canadian who reaches the higher levels didn't get there through some secret shortcut. They got there by consistently moving one level up at a time, often over 10, 15, or 20 years. If you're sitting at level 1 or 2 right now feeling discouraged, understand that level 3 isn't a different species of person, it's simply what happens when consistency compounds long enough. Every automatic TFSA contribution, every RRSP deposit, every month you resist lifestyle inflation, is quietly pushing you toward the next level, even when it doesn't feel like it in the moment. So take a second and actually think about which level you're at right now, not to judge yourself, but to understand exactly what your next chapter is realistically going to look like, and what small, boring, consistent habits are going to get you there. If this video helped you see your own financial journey a little more clearly, do me a favor and hit that like button. It genuinely helps this channel reach more Canadians trying to build real wealth. Let me know in the comments which level you think you're currently at. I read every single one and I'd love to hear your story. And if you want more honest breakdowns like this on money, net worth, and financial freedom here in Canada, make sure you're subscribed so you don't miss what's coming next. This has been Canadian Finance Hub with James, and I'll see you in the next video.